Doesn't that sound awful?
Yeah, I mean, because think of that, like, the sheer, because, you know, you say a bubble, and they're, you know, they've done this for, like, other sports, again, also
Bubble.
kind of unsuccessfully, because,
Bubble bath.
you know, like the NBA. I don't know that anyone's, like, sneaking out for, like, McDonald's and hookers at the Olympics, but you never know.
That sounds like a good night to me.
It does. It sounds like a good time, but, you know, like, you think of these bubbles, but, like, the sheer number of people that they need to, like, house for the Olympics is just, it's bonkers. So yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense that he'd be 2 hours away, but that sounds so awful.
Uh-huh.
I really want to see, I love Shaun White, and this is his last Olympics he's competing in. I've been watching him on TikTok, and I hope that I mean, how could they not pull him in as a commentator? Because I think he's delightful and charming and knowledgeable, so it's fun to see that change for sure.
Yeah.
I have to tell you about this other thing that came up this week. I was watching TikTok late at night.
Our favorite TV channel.
I know. That's what's crazy. They do have, we recently discovered that they have TikTok for TV, a TV app, and it's
dangerous.
Oh, this is the beginning of the end, you know.
This is all we're going to watch anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, but this, you know, recording today made me think about, I was watching this woman who is on TikTok, and she is an Audible narrator. She narrates audiobooks. Mm-hmm. There's the word. And most of them are like romance novels, but it was like fascinating watching her process. She goes live and like records parts of books, and kind of interesting to hear her voice acting. But I think, you know, there's a preponderance of other like voice acting videos on TikTok that make me think like, maybe I could do that.
You probably could.
I know, it made, like, people post, you know, she posted like, you know, here's a website to go to if you want to get into this and like take an acting class and whatever. But, you know, I buy one microphone and I'm like, is this a career? So maybe we need like an Instagram poll of like, would you listen to my voice reading you romance novels?
I would listen to you reading Mattress Tag to me.
Oh,
just
precious. Kidding. Yeah, I'm like, that's not real. I'm gonna cry.
You know what? I think as I see someone like recording an audiobook, mm-hmm. because I love audiobooks, you know, and I've listened to some really interesting ones. Like, I love Dan Brown, and I've read with my eyes all the books, but mm-hmm. I've also listened to some of the audiobooks of them.
I've read with my eyes. I love it. This is where we're at, where we have to qualify.
As opposed to read. Well, there's some debate on is listening to an audiobook reading.
Oh yeah, it's a hot button topic.
And I kind of think it's not, but it's not reading. You are getting the information. I think you're not mm-hmm. improving like your skills as a reader or things like that, but you're taking in the information. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, when I hear like an audiobook person, narrator kind of doing like all the like intonation in your voice, like it is basically voice acting, but mm-hmm. you're doing like lots of different characters, but you change your voice slightly, but you're not like a Simpsons voice actor, like doing different characters. You're just like, "Are you in there?" she said. Right. You know, like you have to like do that. And I just think there must be a lot that goes into notating that. Oh, so you can like go back and forth, and I don't know. And then because you drop back into your like narrator voice, mm-hmm. your third person or whatever.
Yeah, it was fascinating listening, like watching her work, because, you know, I thought like, oh, I can like compellingly read something out loud. Like I was the person who like really wanted to be called on in the popcorn reading in class, because I like wanted to, you know, I wanted to read out loud to people because I thought I was good at it, which I think I'm decent. But yeah, it's so much more than that. There's an element of acting. You really have to, the intonation has to change. You play different characters. She did like multiple accents in this one that she was reading while I was watching her. So I think that would be really difficult, because I think about my ability to maintain, even just when playing around, my mm-hmm. ability to maintain an accent consistently for any amount of time is not great.
I want to hear your acting ability. I'm going to go grab a classic piece of literature off my shelf, and we're going to see how you can cold read.
Yes, nothing that is copyrighted.
I think it can be out of copyright.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelsey.
What'd you grab?
So, as a functioning illiterate, I don't have a lot of book choices.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few coffee table books.
The Kama Sutra.
Yeah, I have that. 69
the gay Kama
sex
Sutra.
positions. But I do have, it's not in the public domain, but I do have, as all children do, To Kill a Mockingbird.
A classic.
It is a classic. The Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. Just open to a random page.
Okay. Oh wow, the pressure's on here. I need something with a lot of dialogue. Wow, Ku Klux Klan really came up immediately. That's gonna be a tongue twister. Okay.
I don't know if you know the contents of this book, but that's the least of the problems.
I too was a reading child, so yes. Oh, here's the problem, is like I look at these names of characters and I'm like, oh, I don't remember exactly who this is or what they should sound like, so are they all Southern?
They're all Southern.
Where does it take place again? Remind me.
I don't know. Alabama or something.
It's all the same.
Alabama,
You're like,
Arkansas.
yeah, let me just let me tune in my regional dialect, please. Okay. That's a compliment, explained Jem. He spends his time doing things that wouldn't get done if nobody did them. Huh? In addition to Jem's newly developed characteristics, he'd acquired a maddening air of wisdom. Oh, Scout, it's like reorganizing the tax systems of the counties and things. That kind of thing's pretty dry to most men. Golf clap.
Golf clap. Loved it. I'm going to try now.
Okay.
I can't read. Atticus's voice was even. Alexandra, Calpurnia's not leaving this house until she... I can't.
I think we both lack the basic ability to read. Required for narration
Alexandra,
work.
Calpurnia's not leaving this house until she wants to. You may think otherwise, but I couldn't have got along without her all these years. She's a faithful member of this family, and you'll simply have to accept things were never the way they are. I literally just input words that aren't there. I can't read.
Luckily, as a narrator, as I found, you get to like retake, so you can circle back. But the other issue is like, when's the last time you read To Kill a Mockingbird?
9th grade.
Yeah, mine's been decades. So, she, this woman who is a voice actor, she always reads through it once and then.
Oh, so she reads the book?
Yeah, so she reads, which again is like, wow. Because she's booked and busy. So you got to read the book and then be able to record it all. Because you got to know what's coming, you got to know what the characters are like. But,
right.
Yeah.
I'm like addicted to TikTok a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't allow anyone to see my screen time reports any longer. Not that people were looking at them before.
Did you have to submit them somewhere, or
to myself? I don't even look at them anymore because it's bad.
I'd rather not know, frankly. I try not to look at this point, and I do not have those notifications on because I don't want to know. And it's already like, tell me what I already know. I'm spending too much time on my phone, and most of that time is spent. A large chunk of that time is spent on TikTok. But I spend a lot of time on TikTok as well, but it's like I see there are definitely positives to it as well. It's like, okay, yes, it may be like China may be farming data from my phone and collecting, facial recognition.
They already were.
Information. Yeah, absolutely, from other places. So like that's, there's a dark side of it as well. But I just love how TikTok has just, like, it brings people together. I think it, like, amplifies talent that, like, otherwise would have just lived in obscurity. Like, I don't know if you saw recently, there's this kid who posted, he was like, so my dad wrote and recorded this song in the 70s. Presumably he was in, like, a band or something, but he's like, and then never did anything with it. And so it's just been, like, here, and he's like, he was driving his dad's car, and it's, like, in the cassette player or something, which I love that. And so we played it on TikTok, and it like blew up, and people are like, put this on Spotify, and it's crazy, and you know, we love it. And I mean, if I'm honest, like, it's a bop.
Yeah.
You know, and it, you know, right out of the 70s, it's like this time capsule. It's called Surrender to Me, if you want to go look that up. But yeah, I think just those things are amazing. Like these people who are just making music in their basement, and then, you know, it goes viral as a TikTok sound. Whether or not that turns into like actual, you know, a career trajectory, who knows? Not for everyone, of course, but that's what those are the positive things, you know, that keep me on TikTok.
I would agree. And something that I like about TikTok is since I started using it, I've never felt more culturally aware. If I turn on like a serious channel that's current popular music, if I wasn't on TikTok, I don't know that I would know a bunch of those songs or even like who's singing them.
Yeah.
But like now suddenly I'm like, oh, I know like new stuff, and not just pop music either, because you can really get exposed to like so much stuff. And then you'll have like songs become popular on there that are old, like, you know, what's that song where it's like, but my love grows where my rosemary goes.
Oh yeah, I looked that up recently.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, that's like obviously an old popular song, but like, I'm like, oh, I didn't listen to that, but now I can like throw it back into my playlist because it's a bop, you know?
Which also from that, I've seen like there are artists with like, again, this, you know, whatever their Spotify plays are for this song that they made like decades ago. And then they like rush to the top of the charts again because it becomes, you know, popular on TikTok.
Yeah. Like the remix of Rasputin.
Mm-hmm.
Ra ra Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen.
Which, like you said, it's from all different, you know, there's stuff from like the early 2000s, like throwback, like our childhood, that becomes popular on there. And I think that's, I don't know, I just think it's cool. It's these interesting like cultural touchstones that are like shared. Like, you know, there are those people, you probably have this too, that like there are people in your office who are on TikTok and people who are not. And I feel like it's like, if you're on TikTok, you get it, and if you're not, then you don't get it, and you generally like look down upon it. Like people who aren't on TikTok are like, oh, you're on TikTok, like what a waste of time. And it's like, well, what are you doing, spending those hours on Instagram instead? You know, it's all relative.
What's
like,
on Instagram even anymore?
Photo, real, you know, TikToks
re-uploaded.
Like that's the funny thing to me is the people in my life who like aren't on TikTok who like consistently send me reels, and it's like, yeah, I saw this on TikTok like a week ago.
Right, exactly. The other thing too is that the people who aren't on TikTok, when I'm like, thank you so much for that, Diane, I really appreciate that. You know, like I do TikTok noises, and then they're like, what? And I'm like, you're done. You're dad.
You're dad. Exactly.
You know, and I always am saying now, and people like look at me strange, but I'm like, we did it.
There are so many good ones. Like there are so many good one-liners from TikTok. Yeah. And I think what's interesting to me is there are ones that like eke their way out. Like the whole, the hot week of No Bones Day, Bones Day, that like even people in my office who I'm like, yeah, I don't think you're a regular TikTok user. We're talking about Bones Day. Cause I think, you know, then it ended up on the Today Show. But, you know, I think in the past, like it used to be like everyone watched, you know, The Office. And then those were like the things you're quoting, which, you know, some people are still quoting like 20 years later or whatever. But,
now people are checking in on Noodle.
Yeah.
Does he have bones? But for a week, for a month, really.
Yeah.
And then I haven't checked in on Noodle in a while.
That's a good TikTok, like, channel idea, is, like, the where are they now of, like, I know there's certainly TikTok, like, accounts that go over, like, what's the, like, originating point of this popular sound, which I find those fascinating, too. But I want to know, like, what's Bones' owner doing these days? Like, he's still getting interviews, or?
I think so. He's got merch. Jason something.
That is, I will say, that is the side of it that I don't love, and I think that's endemic to social media, but, like, the number of people who have merch, that it's like, you know, anyone can go on, you know, whatever, Universal Thread, or that's not the one. Nope, that's not what I'm thinking, but there are these, you know, companies that'll, like, you know, print to order t-shirts or whatever. It's like anyone could have merch. I mean, Maybe we should cut this out because there's going to be unopinionated
There
podcast
absolutely
merch.
is going to be